We're back.
We are back, and we're in existential crisis mode, Ian.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, you said it was going to be a big business that episode, but I didn't think we were going existential crisis.
It is
happening?
Existential crisis mode.
Okay. Give it to me.
Okay. So first of all, let's talk about AI Aaron from last episode.
Okay, yeah.
I got 3 separate DMs from people that I know, like, and trust that said you have to do this. And they said Ian is right, which of course I hate to hear. I hate to hear that.
Love it. I love it.
It's not great for me to hear that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I got a few DMs.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like that feels like something.
Okay.
But here's the thing. One of them was talking about, founder market or founder product fit, right? And I think the only thing that's going to make this work is if I am super on it and like super interested and spending, free time basically doing this.
Okay.
And I don't think I have it in me.
Yeah.
I don't think I have it in me to do that.
Which, to be fair, is not what I was even suggesting. So I don't like that idea for you.
Okay.
I don't like, we're going to do everything we planned on doing, and then Aaron's going to layer on another side project, which is become an AI guru guy. I think that's not the way to do it. I think it only really makes sense if it was like, you know what, we're going to take a side adventure. We're going to not do whatever the next course was. We're going to instead do AI side adventure. Mm-hmm. And if it becomes a thing, it's like, maybe this is a moment to try something like that because the AI is moving forward, blah, blah. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Either way, then we know or whatever. But like, yeah, I don't think it should be, you have too much going on. You have too much going on. You're not going to be able to do a good job if it's like, my plan is 9 to 11 p.m. I'm going to, be on the AI stuff and building a course or a newsletter.
Not going to happen.
It can't be that. So yeah, so I think that makes sense. I don't think you should think about it that way. I think it only makes sense if you're like, I thought about it and I'm super into it and it's worth us going on a side adventure. I think is the only way to do it as part of the business is doing this, not extracurricular.
Right. Yeah. So that leads us to the launch of screencasting.com.
Okay. So that launched. Yes.
And it didn't go great.
Okay.
In fact, it went worse than our worst case scenario. Okay. It was an absolute flop.
Okay.
So this is contributing to existential crisis mode. So we launched it on Tuesday. We are recording slightly earlier than normal, so it hasn't been a full week yet, but still, it's kind of easy to tell, first day sales are pretty important. Mm-hmm. We said that this set of courses would be a failure if we hit, like, if we didn't get over 50,000, it would be a failure. Okay. So on launch, we did under 5,000.
Okay. It's a little less than you were.
It's a disaster.
Okay.
It is an absolute disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got to figure out what the business is doing.
What are we going to do here? Yeah.
What are we going to do now? Because if we don't turn it around, this doesn't work. Like, we have, of course, we're fine. We have, some money in the business bank. Steve and I have money in our personal bank accounts. But like, if this doesn't turn around, it's game over. Like, this isn't going to work, right?
Right.
So we're kind of in hair on fire freak out mode.
Okay.
So I need you, 1, to talk me down.
I think,
and then
I don't
2,
think you should do that. Yeah.
And 2, we got to figure out what we're going to do next. So I just listened to 2.5 hours of Business Dad chiding Caleb on not being capitalistic enough. While chewing cough drops. So I'm glad the cough has gone away. Because
no, it's not. I just had one in.
Okay, well, let's hold off on those for now. You can just mute or you can cough quietly.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to hear any cough drops rattling around.
Okay.
So here's what we've talked about, Steve and I.
Yes. Okay.
This launch was an absolute failure. That is like a given. There's no debating that. It's fine. It happens.
Okay. I'm not even ready to concede.
You're not going to concede that point.
No,
okay, great.
But let's continue with where you are right now, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Woof, that's a good start. It's a good start. we have a couple of theories, none of which we're very certain of, but I'll just lay out some of the things we've thought about. The broad economic environment has changed. That's always true. Possible. Our last big launch was in October, and things were different back then, and that was mastering Postgres. So the broad economic environment has changed. That's one. We gave access. Everyone that purchased V1 of screencasting got V2, which I think is the morally correct thing to do. Because the How to Screencast course is basically a rehash of the old one with better lighting, slightly better content, fresher. So it's like you already paid for it. They also got access to the ScreenFlow editing course because the old course included a little bit more editing. And so we broke up, philosophically how to screencast and edit with ScreenFlow into 2 courses. Old customers got access to both, which again, I think is the morally correct thing to do. So that wiped out that wiped out 1,000 or more people, whatever.
Side note here is I didn't get any emails from you, and I do own the course, and I just checked, and I in fact did receive them.
Okay.
But they never made it up. Now I'm using Superhuman with some pretty heavy filtering, so it might just be me. So I don't know what your open rates are. If they were fine, then it's probably fine. But I didn't see anything, which I was surprised at.
Okay, good note.
Yeah. So I don't know if there could be some existing customers maybe weren't even aware potentially.
Okay. The other option is kind of similar to the last one, and that is we have exhausted the audience that I have on Twitter. Everybody who was gonna buy has already bought, and like we talked about, they won't buy again. Right. That is a possibility. And the other possibility is this is bad like audience product fit, because the database courses have done very well. The Rails course that we did was below average in terms of money. And then the screencasting course was like an abysmal failure. And so it could be that people just want database courses, which would surprise me. But it could be true. And historically, screencasting has done over $100,000, like total. Since its inception a long time ago. So I think those are the possible diagnoses of the problems. Oh, also, we didn't send out, hey, in 1 month we're launching. Hey, in 2 weeks we're launching. Yeah. Hey, in 1 week we're launching. So the actual launch was way lower key than, mastering Postgres, where we talked about it for 2 months straight and then finally released it. So those are all the things. I'll let you diagnose those, but then we got to figure out how to save the business, because it's pretty depressing. I'm not gonna lie. Yesterday was maybe the worst day.
A low point
in our for sure. I mean, recording mastering Postgres and SQLite on a tight timeline was extremely exhausting.
Right, it was physically difficult.
This was like extremely depressing. Like, we're gonna have to close up shop, which we're not, especially if Kelsey, you're listening. We're not closing up shop. We're fine. It's just,
it has that vibe. You feel that way. Yeah, you're on tilt.
So save me, Ian.
Yes. So I think there's a lot there. I think you guys are mostly, in my opinion, right in a lot of that. But I do think there's definitely, I noticed, I mean, when you said the other day, screencasting's launching this week, I was surprised. And I have a podcast with you that we do every week, right? So I feel like
nobody knew about it.
Definitely, you guys did not do the run up you did previously for like Postgres and the other ones. The prep videos, and you were talking about constantly. We were talking about here constantly. You're on YouTube talking about, right? Like, I feel like this really came out of the blue, which is not. I'm not the guy to go to about the course playbook necessarily, but I feel like that's not the way these things usually go. The successful ones, where it's a little. Where you just drop a course, right? So I do think you guys, that is definitely a factor. I do think the economic environment's probably, I don't think it's like took you from 50 to 5 though. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I don't think that's, maybe you want to say if we did 35 and we thought we'd do 50, you could blame it on the economics, but I think it's probably not. It's probably not the main thing. I do think your audience is not in alignment, and like where you've seen that, right? Like it's like the Rails thing didn't do as good as pure database, and now this is even farther away, right, from core developer stuff, and is done less well. I guess to me, I always thought, I think there's a question of if it should even be launched as a course, if it even is a course in a sense.
Tell me.
Like, and we talked about this a long time ago. See, to me, it's more like a real business than a course, if that makes sense. So like,
it doesn't. Tell me more.
Okay. So I feel like that if you had the audience of aspirational YouTubers, then I think it would be different, but that's not your audience, right? So how do you get the audience? How do you get this in front of people? That's why I think it's more like it needs a real business, normal business, not real business, but like a normal business flow. Like we talked about a long time ago, like SEO, reviews of cameras, reviews of tools. I mean, you built all these courses for DaVinci and Resolve and these things or whatever, the different dual ScreenFlow, articles about all that stuff, right? Like trying to build up the SEO. No, SEO is dying, but it's I think in those things, you probably have some chance to get some of it. Still good for the AI stuff. And when AI recommends these things to people, all that. I think you guys need some content being out there on the YouTube channels of other people, right? Like guest hitting, talking about this stuff. I have no idea where those places are, but like doing all that kind of thing. There's like a tool I played around with recently called SparkToro. I don't know if you've ever played with that.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. Rand Fishkin's thing.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool because it's like you can like find all the influencers in these, whatever segments you think might do well, right? And then go on their podcast and whatever. Like, I think it might need more of that than just the like your existing audience.
I think so.
Here, we're dropping this in here, and that's it. Like, I think that's probably where it's like it's more of a product to be sold to the what's that guy? There was like the kit people. Nathan Barry always does a bunch of stuff, or at least in the past did with that guy. It's like make your first million, not the make your first million guy. Whatever, like those kind of guys who are like start your own business.
Kagan? Millionaire Weekend.
Yeah, he's one of them. But anyway, like I feel like all those type of crew, like creators, right? Like you want to be in the creators circle, not in the software developers circle.
Correct.
So that's where I think you need to get over there into the creator land. And that, so then when you think about it as a product, right? If you think about it not as a course with a launch, but like as a product, then it's like, okay, like $5,000. It's not that bad. Like this is day one. Like, and then if you then build it up and take the time to do all that stuff, like next month it'll be more. And like, you build it up that way to kind of build up that surface area. It's not so much the drop. It's like, no, you're just building it. Maybe you do Google ads, like, all that kind of stuff to see if you can reach that audience of people who are aspirational in their, it's like people like what I was talking about Caleb, right? It's like people who buy components before they start their project, right? 50% of the time they never build the project, but they bought the components. I feel like this is like that same exact thing. It's like you need to get in the group of people who are like aspirationally want to do videos, and your course is going to help some percentage of them actually do a video, which they probably wouldn't have done, right, if without this assistance. And that's the group that you're targeting more than like the software developers, because also software developers, they half of them feel like they can do this, they know how to do it, or they're somewhat comfortable with the technology in general, even if they don't really know how to do it. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's my thinking. Okay, so I've always thought it's more of a product than a course.
So the first take is this particular set of courses, the business is not shaped like a traditional course. It should be shaped more like a one-time sale product business.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I think.
And the implication there is it shouldn't fall off the same way a course launch business does. It should grow over time as we figure out how to market it.
Right. I mean, I think right now it's going to fall, right? Like next week, I'm sure it's going to sell less than it did this week, right? But like, that's because there's no other marketing in place for it, right? So it's like building that part of it up.
Okay. So we got to figure out what do we do in the next 6 weeks to like make a bunch of money? And then what do we do like longer term?
Well, that implies somebody who's it's a little, you're like, everything's fine. That implies everything's not fine. I just want to throw that back.
Oh yeah, for sure. It feels like everything's not fine.
Okay.
It definitely feels like that. Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be a lot you could do with screencasting to make a bunch of money in the next 6 weeks.
That's fine.
Yeah, like, but yes and no, right? Like, I think if you push hard and get in front of the right people, maybe you could, right? Like, hey, if you got, just to make a crazy example, if you got on Casey Neistat, right, and you got a 10-minute Casey Neistat video with you and him running in the park, and then you talk about screencasting and there's a little overhead video thing somehow, and he's writing on the thing, right? Like, you'd probably sell a shit ton of,
some courses,
right? So, I think if you could get in with some people and get in front of some audiences, start to build the mailing list, blah, blah, blah. Probably some questions there. Like, it had been more the idea of like the Aaron Francis empire.
Right.
I could imagine this maybe having its own little side newsletter that's sort of dedicated to people who don't want a bunch of database emails and stuff when you get back on that, or even when you're just cross-selling in other areas, right? So it's a little bit outside that, but yeah. So, I mean, I think you could do some stuff there. I don't know. Okay. It's hard to do those things motivationally.
It is hard to do those things. Yeah. And I feel like those are going to be slow burn things because it's going to be like finding the people, working with the people, getting them to publish the thing. Like, it's going to take a while, right?
Yeah. This is another thing that takes a while, but I feel like it absolutely has to have TikTok and Instagram Reels. Like, there has to be something there for that. Okay. I feel like it needs it, because I feel like that's like the biggest audience is like, how do you edit this for maybe even some of those tools? I mean, this is now, maybe it's too far away from it. I don't know. Because then it's like, well, I'm not using DaVinci to edit my TikTok video. I'm probably like editing something on my phone.
You're using CapCut.
Right.
Yeah. And the course isn't like, it actually doesn't teach you how to make TikTok videos. Right. You know what I mean? It teaches you how to make like long form, basically education videos.
Does it teach you about YouTube in general? Could it be used as a YouTuber in general, or is it really education?
It could be used by an aspiring YouTuber for sure. Okay. If their style is like, let me show you something on the computer, not like, let me go light a house on fire and then drop a car on it,
Well, maybe you have to stay in that zone then. I do wonder if maybe it's just, it's too narrow. Maybe it's just too narrow, possibly. I mean, it's like, it's really for people like Aaron Francis. So it's really for software developers who want to teach people the stuff they know.
Okay.
And maybe that's too narrow.
Maybe that is too narrow. I don't know if that's necessarily. Yeah, I don't know. I think when you say it like that, that is too narrow. I don't think that is the goal of the course.
I don't think it's actually that narrow.
No, I think it is not necessarily software developers. Anyone who works on the computer, not necessarily teaching. Could be product demos, just communication in general, that sort of stuff. But yeah, it is definitely shaped more for people similar to me. Hopefully not exactly like me only.
I mean, I don't know if this has anything to do with launch, but I do wonder if like screencast
is a dying term.
Yeah. Like, or if I don't even think about that, I want to make YouTube videos. I want to make YouTube videos. And that's like what I'm out there thinking about. I'm looking for, this is the dream I have. I don't know if I think about it like, I don't know if screencast is then the term that I'm going to connect with potentially. Now, I think this is still a little bit separate, because I just don't think you probably had the right and big enough audience probably to launch this at $100,000. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so who knows? Like, if it was all about YouTube, I don't know if that would necessarily done like so much better, because it might just be that the Aaron Francis mailing list is just not that targeted at whether you call it YouTube or screencasting or TikTok or any of it. Like, I still think ultimately it's like, you kind of have to get out into other
I got to find
areas.
New people.
Yeah. Like, I think that's kind of the real core issue, even regardless of what you call it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's my thought too, is we got to find new people.
It is interesting though, in that it is specifically kind of for showing people stuff on your computer. It feels narrow. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's narrow in terms of like the amount of video that is out there for sure. I still feel like even that narrow slice is a lot of it is a lot of people.
Right. If you can find where they're hanging out.
I can find where they're hanging out. And I think the obvious answer is YouTube. Like, video people watch a lot of YouTube, right? And so my thought, and this is a long a slow burn, but I think it has to happen. So one of my fears is, what I don't want to do is be like, okay, well, this launch failed, let's move on to the next course. Because I think everything we did for screencasting is incredibly good and valuable, and people should buy it and watch it and learn from it. I think it's all top notch. And what I don't want to do is say, oh, this failed, we got to do something to make money, let's move on to the next course. And then we launch that, and it's like, oh, that failed, we got to move on to the next course, without ever thinking like, hang on, how do we market what we already have, right? How do we like sell the things we've created instead of just creating more things? So I think we do need a screencasting YouTube channel, which is like kind of exhausting to think about a new YouTube channel. Scratch, but Steve can do a lot of that content, right? And he can do a lot of that content pretty quickly. I mean, he's a seasoned veteran in screencasting and video in general, so he could do that. And I think that would get us out in front of a brand new audience that doesn't know us at all, which I think is pretty important. So I think that's got to happen.
Do you think the positioning, I would be careful about just jumping in on that myself a little bit until you're just sure about the positioning. Because I do now wonder, so if we think about the database courses, one of the ideas you guys have had is like, these are maybe a little too high level. So we're going to do an entry level. It's going to be simpler and it's going to be cheaper, right? But if we think about screencasting.com here, I feel like it's kind of targeted at the beginner, but the price is not the beginner. It's not a crazy price, but it's not like what you've talked about with the other ones. That's going to be $49 to get you in, right? And then you're going to sell them the more advanced post course, like that whole flow. It's not that. It's still it's still more than that. Part of me wonders if
you think we need to drop the price on.
I don't know about that. I was thinking the opposite. I was thinking, is this real? Is what this is? You already screencast, but you know you don't do a very good job with it. There's things you don't like. You don't know how to edit your own videos. You don't make slick videos like Aaron Francis can make. Teach me how to make slick screencasting videos, which I think is what this probably already does. So is it like, should it be positioned as a higher level tool to level up your existing screencasting as opposed to learn to screencast? And then maybe it's even more expensive or whatever, but like, or it's at the current price, but maybe that would even, it's niching it a little bit more, but maybe it's easier to target those people. Like they're already out there, they're already doing it. You could try to find the people who already do it. You could be approaching them and all that stuff. Like, I don't know. The learning is appealing too, though, of course. It's a much bigger audience.
So instead of selling like how to do it, sell how to do it better and faster.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. I like
possibly.
That. I like that. I think one thing we need to do is, I think we need to send another email. So I think we need to send an email to the list and be like, hey, this flopped. Tell me why you didn't buy. Like, help me understand what's wrong with this, because it was a disaster.
Right.
And we need to fix it. And I think,
I like that.
You know, that's very on brand for me, right? To not to not hide anything and to just be like, hey guys, this was a failure. What do I do now? So I'm not trying to pretend it went great, and hopefully I'll get some good feedback from that, from the actual people that would be closest to buying it but didn't. I need to say, what the heck? What am I doing wrong here? And maybe they'll tell me.
Yeah, I think that's really good, especially since you know it's your audience, so you can kind of frame it in the structure of like a software developer, and what they say will be quite interesting. I think okay. So there's research to do there. That's where like maybe not starting on the like its own YouTube channel yet and all that stuff, giving it like a week or two even just to like collect some data.
To come down a little bit.
To come down a little bit. Because you know what it takes to do those things. I feel like you want to make sure you're doing something that is like what you want to be doing with it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think I've decided I don't want to do any more dumb things. It's smart things only from now on. So I want to do something.
You don't always know what those are,
smart. Yeah, I know. That's the hard part. If we could just do the things that are smart and not dumb, that would be good.
So, I mean, listen, here's another angle on this whole thing, which is, Steve is great, but we don't know if Steve can actually build an audience. Aaron Francis is great. We know Aaron Francis can build an audience, right? Aaron Francis has done that. Aaron Francis has an audience. So I think there's, at least it should be said that like this is a flop, you move on with your life. Like maybe you have the Kelseys of the world like chipping away at like getting you interviews and things you can kind of do quickly, like expose it to other markets. If those hour hits here and there actually produce results, great, you keep working on it and maybe do more. If they don't do anything, great, you're like, this is just a total flop. It's for whatever reason, the market does not want this, right? And like, rather than spend 2, 3, 6 months on like, no, we built it, we spent a lot of time, it's really good, we're gonna make it work. You cut your losses and you say, you know what sells? A MySQL course sells 100% for sure. A MySQL course sells versus this, which maybe doesn't sell, or whatever the case. A time series database or a column database course probably sells, right? A vector database course probably sells, since that ties in with the AI stuff, even without you going full AI, Aaron Francis.
But it doesn't sell to Ian because Ian hates vectors.
You know, I don't know if I hate them, but you know what I'm saying. I'm not a total believer, but the point is, all this stuff that's out there, maybe that's just what you need to do.
That is leading contender for the diagnosis is people want me to teach them databases. That is like, I think that's our number one theory on why it didn't.
That's money in the bank for sure, right? Yeah. Like whether, and I think that, I mean, there's other advantages there, right? Like both your other courses, you had corporate sponsorship of even making them, right? So like, I know what a huge advantage that is. That's guaranteed money.
You're telling me
their distribution on top of your own distribution, right? Like,
I know.
So can you go to Pinecone? Can you go to AWS? Can you go to whoever? MySQL has their new vector database. Maybe you get some of that Oracle money, right? Like, can you go to somebody who has a vector database and be like, hey, look, I've done this twice before. It's really successful. Sponsor it. This is the deal. Blah blah. Boom. Now you've got yourself another half a year of revenue and things are good, right? You know, that's definitely the safest route for sure.
That is the safest route.
And if you think about screencasting.com as more of a product, right? Maybe it just you structure it that way anyway. Like it's like, forget like doing big drastic things. Don't commit to building a YouTube channel that you're probably going to peter out on in like 2 months, right?
I'm going to resent after a week.
You're going to hate it, right? Go old school with it. Get Kelsey or somebody else to like, hey, we're going to do an article or 2 a week. We're going to start building up the blog. Like that's a super easy thing. You don't have to even really be involved in it, right? Can just start to build it up that way. Maybe do some interview requests, do a little bit of that stuff, right? Takes no prep for you to like pop on somebody's podcast and talk for an hour, right? Great, easy stuff. And just leave it at that. And like, let that happen for 12 months and then see where it's at. Like, oh, did we build up a newsletter from these blog posts and start to collect people? Did every time Aaron appeared on a show, did we get a bump in the numbers? You know, and just build it up over years, you know? So it becomes the baseline that builds, while the courses are more the like, boom, hit a money kind of.
Okay. I like that. That's a good theory.
It's all stuff to get good at anyway, because like, I mean, Postgres, all these other courses you've done, I still feel like you have to find the way to keep selling them, right? It's not like everybody
you're telling me
who needed Postgres training, you didn't sell to all of them, right? Like it wasn't just, everybody 6 months ago who needed Postgres training, boom, we got to all of them and they all bought it and now it's all done. No, you reached 1% of the total addressable market, if that, right? So there's all that stuff.
That leads me to the next 6 weeks.
Okay.
I think for the next 2 weeks, so we'll break it up. For the next 2 weeks, I need to make as many database YouTube videos as I can muster, with clear calls to action to something. Sign up for a list, buy the course, download a cheat sheet, whatever. Because I think I have been failing on using YouTube as like a marketing channel. Been a little too precious about it and just been like, no, they'll like enter the orbit and eventually find me or find my courses. And it's like, I gotta tell them, go buy it right now. So I think we spend the next 2 weeks doing that, just pumping out as many as I can, and then, you know, dripping them out over however long it takes. And then the next 4 weeks grinding on some sort of database or database adjacent course to be launched as quickly as we can pull it off.
I think there's a shell of a plan. There's a concept of a plan here.
We like a concept of a plan.
I do think I would guess I would say at the beginning of the year-ish, we talked about you getting your YouTube plaque, right? I feel like that's a goal that's you should continue to work on, which is like kind of what you're talking about, but like maybe more continuous, right? It's like the more you build the audience, then that's just great. Then the next time you sell a course, that'll be twice as big an audience, right? And the next time after that, it'll be twice as big after that, right? And so like really hacking the algorithm. How do you make this stuff sexy so that it gets recommended to people, all the algorithmic stuff, like whatever you got to do to figure that out. I feel like that is a great use of time to build that audience. And then the course stuff, I would probably leave it yourself again, a little flexibility. Go out to the market and get a sponsor. I would run the sponsor playbook again. Let that be what guides it. Like if a vector database company wants to do it, you'll do that. If Oracle wants to give you a few bucks, you'll do that. If whatever, ClickHouse wants you to sponsor you guys to do it, you'll do ClickHouse. Like let that guide which one you do rather than you just picking one, kind of grinding away on it. You're not even sure if it's the right thing to do. Like whatever. If you have a baseline revenue from it, it's automatically the correct thing to do. Like that's great.
If we can get somebody to give us 75 grand, that's the one I'm doing.
Right, exactly. So start that process of reaching back out to everybody. Cloudflare and a D1 course. Maybe they would want to do it.
Man.
So like something like that. I think the thing is like if you start down one path, that might lock you into that path, which maybe you don't want to be locked into that path yet, is my thinking.
Okay, so you're on board with the general idea of YouTube. And you think that needs to be higher on my priority list. I would agree with that.
Yep.
So I will do that. I think we're in alignment there. But then you think, and maybe this is what Steve does for the next 2 weeks, we hit the circuit looking for a course sponsor for something that is database adjacent.
Yeah. I think you should definitely do that. If that's your plan and that's like the need right now of the business is to like get on another course, then I think you guys should absolutely run the same playbook back of get a sponsor and do it that way.
Yeah.
That's what I think you should do for sure. While you're also like, I mean, this to me is like maybe a Steve area too of like chipping away at how are we going to sell these existing courses? Because we have not reached all the market.
We've not reached all the market.
Part of it is Aaron Francis YouTube channel. If it goes from 50,000 to 100,000, right? Like presumably you're going to be able to sell some database courses to the new 50,000 people who didn't even know you had a database course, right?
Who didn't even know I existed.
Right. So there's that whole angle, but maybe there's other angles. I don't know too much about that zone, but I feel like there must be. Copy. People don't copy enough. Like what are all the other people who sell database courses doing? Like where do they advertise places? Are they doing SEO or like whatever? What are they doing? I don't know.
So there's one guy, and he doesn't even do database courses, but there's one guy that I have in mind that I met at a conference, and I think he does a new course every like 2 or 3 months, but it's insane stuff. Like, let me see courses. Here's one. ASP.NET Core from start to finish. Azure Active Directory B2C start to finish. Bootstrap 5. Blazor, Docker, Git, .NET Core app settings.
So the ASP world, yeah.
ASP world. But he's got a course called .NET Core Dependency Injection from start to finish. And it's $49. And let's see, it's 5 hours long. And I'm just like, and I know, I've talked to him. I know where he gets his distribution, and it's all on YouTube. Okay. He's got 400,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Boom.
But his videos get like 2 to 10,000 views.
Right.
But it doesn't matter.
Crazy, right?
It doesn't matter.
It's the right 2 to 10,000.
It's the right ones, and he sells these like super, in my opinion, niche courses like .NET Core Dependency Injection. Meanwhile,
this is like, fascinating.
I've got to teach everything that has ever existed about Postgres.
So this is very interesting. I like this. So like, yes, you are we are going to go deep. We're going to do 100 videos, 100 hours. We're going into the belly of the beast of how Postgres works under the hood and whatever, blah, blah, blah. This guy's like, here's something slightly longer than a YouTube video. Right. And it's, I can crank these out. Right. Now I made 10 of them in the time it took you to make one of those. Right.
Easily. Yes.
And Now, this is a little different strategy than what you guys normally do in terms of like, I don't know if you can launch them the same way. It's like, here's
I don't
my
think
new,
he launches
right?
them. I don't think
he probably doesn't launch them
he
at all.
doesn't launch at all.
Right. So it's a little different strategy there too. But I like that. I mean, even if it wasn't like all the way to that necessarily, and it's like, you know, they're just trimmed back a little bit enough so that you could have a launch every quarter automatically.
Right.
You know, where they're, because it's 20 hours or something, it's not 80 hours or 60 hours. And that's kind of interesting. But still, the whole basis is this nothing different from what we talked about. He has 400,000 subscribers, right? So like he could sell anything into them and probably make some reasonable-ish amount of money. Like your situation's a little different. You have a partner, you have an employee, blah, blah. So probably a little different revenue pressure than he has.
6 employees.
Oh, does he really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go. Build up the damn YouTube channel. What are you doing?
He's got like 6 or 7 employees. Yeah, he's got 432,000 subscribers.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you hit that 100,000 right there, it's a huge difference. And you know, I think all that stuff is good for the algo. You get more likes fast and all that stuff. You know, it compounds, right?
It compounds.
So like, that's the thing.
God, his videos, there's not a single one that has. Okay, here's one that has 22,000. Okay, so the majority of his videos are under 10,000 views.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I would poke around.
But listen
deeper,
to this. This is gonna prove your point, so you'll like this.
Okay, I like that.
I'm on his YouTube page. I clicked latest. All of them don't have very many views, but listen to this. 2 days ago, 6 days ago, 9 days ago, 13 days ago, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 1 month. He does
doing 2 or 3 a week or whatever.
He's doing 2 or 3 a week.
Yeah. I think that's the game. That's the game on YouTube. It's like, even the YouTube things I watch, it's like, man,
are we allowed to curse on this show?
I honestly think daily is the game, but like, you know, a couple times a week for sure. Like, you just want to be always there.
Yeah, I think that is the game.
What's his quality level in terms of like compared to one of your videos? Like, is it at that standard or
just
less,
clicked on one?
More?
With the utmost respect in my heart, the quality is lower.
Yeah. But there you go, right? Like, why are you spending so much time making it perfect? I mean, I literally just had this conversation with Caleb yesterday.
I know.
Like,
why?
Forget the like making it perfect under the hood or whatever. Like, this is nobody cares. Like, everybody's out there watching YouTube videos of like a guy holding up an iPhone and recording himself, and half
recording
the time
on his MacBook microphone that's in the other room, and there's a dog barking.
So like, there's an air of authenticity with that, right? Like, I don't think you're gonna go down to the like. I think you'll maintain a high quality, but I think you can churn them out a little bit more. It doesn't have to be perfect. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I don't think it is the quality that keeps me from churning them out. It's something like because I can do a quality video really fast. Like, I'm so practiced at doing it that it doesn't take me very long. Yep. It's something up here where it's like I just get in this loop of I don't know, like
is this like worth sharing? Is this good enough? Is this worth sharing?
Should I even do this? What am I doing with my life? I just need to be like,
well, so here's an interesting thing. Dumber. I feel like if you can get yourself in the YouTube mindset, right? You like the feedback, right? The feedback, like, I think the positive waves of like people watching the videos, people liking the videos, subscriber number going up, right?
We do like number go up. We do like that,
right? I think getting out of the like social media side of it, like Twitter, all that stuff. That stuff's useless. Like, you're not going to make any money on there. Like, focusing on YouTube. When you have something to say, don't tweet it. Make a YouTube video. And then post your YouTube video on Twitter, right? Great, whatever, who cares? But like, YouTube should be, to me, like your channel. That's where your people are. That's what your focus is. And cross it across the social networks and all that. You know, play that whole game, not ignore those things. But I think that's part of it, you know, building up that audience there, churning them out 2 a week, 3 a week, you know, more lateral stuff.
I don't think I'm a native YouTuber. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, you're a native Twitter like I am.
I'm a native tweeter, and I'm a native like educator. Yeah. But I don't think I fully embrace like, dude, you got to do 3 videos a week. And the problem with that in my mind, which is false, the problem with that in my mind is like, I think about individuals, right? So I think about like Jason Beggs. He's the only person that exists in the Laravel world. He's the only one that ever gets mentioned on podcasts. So right. I think about Jason Beggs and I'm like, Jason, an individual, is not going to watch 3 videos a week. Right. And that is flawed thinking.
Flawed. Very
completely
very flawed.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Jason is going to watch 3, but the point is, I need to stop thinking about what an individual consumer wants and think about, like, what does the audience want?
Yes. And there's a certain amount of just coverage, right?
Yes.
Like, you are trying, maybe Jason only has time for one, but if he only sees you, if you're only doing once a week, but you're not even doing that, but if you're only doing once a week, so some weeks he's going to miss that one. He's not going to see you.
Right.
So right,
he
so now
sees 20% of the announcements or the
right.
in his YouTube feed in Aaron video.
Right.
It's better to have
Aaron
10
all the time.
Yeah. It's better to have 20% of 10 than 20% of 1. I see.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And I do think that's a big part of the game. I feel like most of the successful channels that I'm aware of are publishing very frequently.
Right.
You know, so yeah. And, you know, making shorts, doing that whole thing. Like, I think that, I don't know if those are quite a success. Even the big channels, their short channels don't seem to do
I don't
quite
think
as well as the main one, but
shorts don't translate into much in terms of like
I would still
over
do it
long
because
form.
they want you to do it. So there is still that whole
what does
thing.
The platform want?
Right, like the Apple TV app now puts shorts at the top, and I'm like, why are they stupid shorts at the top? Like, but like this is what they want you to do, right?
If this is what they're pushing, I need to be a part of it.
So you probably need to do that, right? So yeah, that's what I like this as a plan. Like, I think phase 1 is just like rebuilding up the empire of like creative output, because that's what you banked, right? And then you utilize that with the courses. Is I built this audience, and there we go. So doing that, finding a way to make it fun for yourself, make it interesting.
Let's make some money real quick.
Oh yeah, we forgot to do that. Oh shoot.
No. This is riveting radio. People will still be here. People love a failure story. So that's true. I think one of our highest non-guest episodes is when I got laid off. Just producer Dave, make sure you put like the sensational title
failure. Screencasting
launch failure as
Clickbait,
the title of this episode. This episode is brought to you by WorkOS AuthKit. Laravel 12's new starter kits include WorkOS AuthKit, coded by Taylor himself. Future-proof your authentication stack with the identity layer trusted by OpenAI, Cursor, Perplexity, and Vercel, and now Ian Landsman on one of his secret projects. You can find out more at workos.com. Thank you to them for sponsoring. And Bento. bentonow.com, the email service provider that we use at TryHard Studios to faithfully deliver all of our screencasting launch emails. Thank you, Bento. I wish we had done better. You did a great job. We dropped the ball. Thank you, Jesse at Bento, for sponsoring the show. You can find them at bentonow.com.
We're going to give the people a double right here. You're going to take a breath. You're going to take a breath. We're going to talk about very quickly LaraCon US 2025. LaraCon is calling all web artisans. Come to Denver, ready to level up, leave ready to ship. Check them out at laracon.us. We'll be there. We're having a party. You know all that stuff. Come say hi. And we have a new sponsor.
They're
raking out. They're getting in here right on the painful day, which is always good for the sponsor.
Hot topic.
Forward MX, an email forwarding service great for side projects. Collect all of the emails for your different domains in a central inbox like your Gmail, and reply from your domains using our SMTP functionality. Check them out at forwardmx.net. Forwardmx.net. I love this kind of tool. It's like a very specific thing. We all have a lot of domains. We all have a lot of side projects. Instead of having separate email accounts for all those things, all chaos, forward them right in with Forward MX.
I knew this tool was going to be right up your alley. You love stuff like this. I knew it.
Email too. Like, if somebody out there just suffering through email protocol, like I have to suffer. I just love that, the shared suffering, and I like this kind of tool in general. So thanks a lot to them for sponsoring.
Yeah, good job, Forward MX. And if you run an email company, apparently you got to advertise on the show, because you got to do it. Everybody on this show uses email, so there you go.
Get that email energy,
We do. Ooh, big email energy. All right. So the diagnosis, well, what is that? What is the prescription is? The prescription is get your head get out of the sand and do YouTube videos.
That should be like, I honestly don't even think you should do anything else or plan to do anything else for like a while.
Okay.
Like, I think you should get yourself back in the YouTube game. Like, what could possibly be better for your business than your YouTube channel growing? I don't think there's any better value. I don't think you making a course is a better value. I don't think there's any better value for Try Hard Studios than your YouTube channel getting better and growing. And so, like,
we should have 250,000 subscribers. That is what we should have.
And that's going to solve all your problems. Because once you have that, you're going to be able to sell them something, anything, whatever, right? So like, that is what I would do. And then like, I still like this idea of like behind the scenes, Steve could be drumming up business and trying to get a sponsor. If you get a sponsor for a course, great. Then you start doing that. Maybe try to ideally make the timeline not too crazy so that you're not totally overwhelmed, but whatever. If if it's crazy, it's crazy, you deal with it. But like, but between that happening now and whenever that occurs, I feel like you should just be on YouTube, like literally just be doing YouTube and building that back up. You know, we talked about a lot with the screencasting.com. I don't know. I could go either way on that. You could push it. You could not push it. I feel like the idea of like again, kind of slowly building that up is sort of interesting, but yeah, you're probably not going to magically find a way to sell $50,000 of it next week, you know? So like banging your head against the wall on that is probably not the best use of time, you know?
Yeah. So best use of time for me is make YouTube videos. I think I agree with that. Best use of time right now for Steve is getting deals.
Yeah. And this is a huge advantage you guys have is that there's two of you and you can multitask and I think you got to really leverage that. And yeah, I think that makes sense to me because like the biggest asset you have is your audience. On the business end, a course with a guaranteed sponsor is just so much more valuable to you than just building a course without a sponsor.
Correct.
Because just so much more risk when you build the course without the sponsor. Whereas if you have the sponsor, you're just golden. Like, you know, it's worth your time to work on this. So I just think if he can be working on that, which is hard, and you know who knows how successful it's going to be, but still, you guys are not charging that much money. Like, if you get one for 75,000, 100,000, like, it sounds like a lot of money, but that's not a lot of money. Like, for a big company that's blowing out ads, that's got $100 million in VC funding or whatever, like, it's not a lot of money. It's way less money than they're spending on Google ads, I'll tell you that. So like,
and to get in front of many thousands of people that are learning the core technology that your product provides is a pretty good deal.
Yeah. And in front of the exact audience that they're desperate to get in front of, right? So like, it's a very good value if you can make that kind of deal, and it's good for them and it's good for you. So I think it all works out. It makes sense. And that's, you know, and meanwhile, it buys you more. If you pull one of those off, you're still built, you know, you don't lose track of the YouTube end, right? Get to 100,000. That's the first goal. Get to 100,000. And then, you know, go from there.
What about sponsors for YouTube videos? I think so. We've done two styles in the past. One is like 30-second ad read, basically traditional. And then the other is like full-on sponsored video, right? Full-on sponsored videos are tough because it's like, hey, can you do a video about, you know, my TypeScript hosted, you know, Redis server? And I'm like, no, I can't. Like, I don't know TypeScript. I don't actually, you know, whatever. So no, I can't. But there are some I can do. Like ChargeBee came along and they did a Laravel starter kit. Resend did a Laravel driver. And so there are things where it's like, yeah, this fits in. I could do a video on this. I don't have to claim that like I've used it forever. I can say like, here's how to use it. They paid me. Y'all have fun. Those have worked out great. In fact, have been some of our best videos. Like, it's like, damn it. Okay. So full-on sponsored videos, I think I can drum up a few. But what about a like mostly technical style? Buy an ad spot in my next video or my next set of videos or whatever. And I just like put the thing on aaronfrancis.com with a Stripe link. And because part of the like part of the hard part about, doing sponsored videos or doing ads in the middle of videos is, as we know, the coordination with the ad buyer, right? You got to reach out to somebody and they got to be like, well, let me put you in touch with somebody. Let me copy 8 other people on the emails and you want $2,500. It's like, guys, I don't have time for this.
Right. Yeah.
So if I can put up just like a 1-pager that's like, hey, here's some videos I've done. Here's some ads I've done. Here's some stats. Buy now. Give me your 30-second read. That's like not going to make us rich, but it's going to, $2,500 is better than a poke in the eye.
I mean, I don't think can be too bad. I wonder how if it affects video performance and things like that. Like I know the dedicated ones you've done have done well, but that's also like those are the ones that are interesting. It's like, you know what I mean? Like you create a scenario and then like you do a whole thing around the scenario and that's like all integrated and that's interesting to watch. So I don't know. You don't see that a lot in YouTube videos. I don't feel like a kind of pure ad read.
I don't know about that.
Do you see him?
Yeah, like one of the biggest channels I watch is Perkins Builder Brothers. They're great. Love those guys. They're always cutting away to be like, this video is sponsored by AG1 or like this video is sponsored by Better Health. Yeah. Do you need better health? And I'm like, yeah, I do. Actually, yeah. So I feel like that's relatively
it can't hurt, right? Like you try it and see if people do it and that's it.
I'm going to end up reading a bunch of VPN ads, probably. Right. That's what all these, it's like Squarespace and AG1 and VPNs. Like, do you know your information is out there? Use Surfshark or whatever.
Delete me or whatever is the big one going on.
Incogni is another one that I hear about a lot. So I guess YouTube ads work because I'm able to name all of them.
Right, exactly.
So I don't know. I feel like that's like if I'm gonna be pumping out 3 videos a week, why not try to get some ads for it? Maybe some come with ads, maybe some don't.
But so in that regard, why not go to Squarespace and be like, hey, I got 50,000 visitors, subscribers.
I don't know. Why not?
Yeah, like rather than trying to get the one-offs, like let's just lock in a deal for like 2 or 3 videos a month or whatever. I have no idea. I'm sure they have a very structured setup because they do a ton of this, right? So it's like, and then hey, if you can lock in 10 grand a month, that's set Squarespace ads. Great. Like that's awesome. So I like that idea.
That's kind of double duty, right? Because we're building up the main asset, the channel. Hopefully that is selling courses along the way, but we're also getting a little bit on the side just from the sponsors or the ads.
Yeah, and even if that's just like for a while until you have something new of your own that you're gonna push or whatever, then that's fine, Yeah, I mean it can't hurt to look at. I think I like the idea of like trying to nab one of these YouTube sponsor standard ones a little bit more than what we do here, just because I think here we kind of like integrate it into the show and it's kind of like a joke and we're talking about it a lot and stuff. Like just don't know if you're going to be able to pull that off to like let people know it's even an option. Like you're gonna have to be like, you can advertise in this slot. I don't know, it feels like it could be weird, but maybe it won't be. I don't know, but
who knows.
You could try it. I'd probably first be like, hey, Squarespace, give me some money and see how that goes. If they do, that's awesome. And or NordVPN or one of the big delete
8 Sleep or whatever.
8 Sleep, because that's also going to be like more locked in. I would think it's like probably a multi-month deal for a good number of episodes. It's like more of a.
It's going to be a lot easier to manage. Like hey, give us $50,000. We'll do whatever. 25 videos like instead of
chunkier amount of money,
nickel and dimes.
Yeah. I think in that regard, for like what you're talking about, I feel like would be superior than like what we do here, probably. But I think that's either way could work. Yeah, but I like that idea.
Maybe we'll start self-serve while we're working the deals behind the scenes.
Yeah. I mean, certainly some of the like, depending on what you charge for it, like you probably get some of the smaller Laravel crowd to advertise and things like that. So that'd be something. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Ian, I'm not going to retire at 40 if I don't make any money. This is not going to work.
That's the problem. What about, we haven't talked about this, turning the platform into a business?
Oh, man, we have better software ideas than the platform.
Okay.
If we're going to do software, we're going to do something different. The platform is amazing because it's built just for us. And bringing somebody, we could potentially do a white glove thing. potentially, but we can't. I don't think we can open it to self-serve SaaS. That's just like we'll make many tens of dollars and it will be a nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's a big market for that kind of thing. I agree. I mean, there's obviously a couple big platforms, but
yeah. And I've seen lots of indie course platforms come and go. It's like every developer that makes a course makes a platform and then turns around and is like, I should sell the platform. And everybody's like, it doesn't work the way that I want it to.
Right. Yep. All right. No software.
No, well, not that software.
Not that software.
Yeah. And we would like to have enough like runway to dedicate some time to work on, this software idea, but we just don't have that right now.
Yeah. I don't think you're ever going to have that. That's the reality. Like,
well, we better. We got to start like spinning off cash, like so that we can do other things.
I don't know. You're looking at guys who do the same thing for 20 years. I don't know, man. Like,
man.
I don't know if that, because there's just like only, there's like I don't know. I think it's probably unlikely. Maybe not. If you build up the audience big enough and like you're selling the old stuff into it sufficiently enough, then I guess, I mean, that's, I guess, possible. And for you, it would be content, the sort of interesting content angle of like, we're building the software thing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I wouldn't think that that's going to be something that happens anytime soon, that you have like so much extra money that you can afford to stop. It's because like, we need to get the wheel going, and then you got to keep it going.
We got to keep the wheel going. That's the thing about wheels.
Once you get the wheel going, you got to keep it going. That's the thing. That's the thing. I wonder if you could you do a subscription of your current stuff? Yeah, I don't think so either.
That's a good theoretical question, though.
If you go with this other guy's plan, where you're cranking out 5-hour courses,
he has a subscription plan.
There you go. Because then it's like, hey, I'm constantly here's 5 hours on the Laravel dependency injection system, right? Here's 5 hours on this. Here's 5 hours on that. Here's 2 hours on this. Here's 7 hours on that. Like,
his is $55 a month.
Wow, that's like crazy expensive.
Yeah.
Those enterprise ASP guys, man, they got all the cash.
I know.
It ain't the
you were talking
to
Caleb about the Java components or whatever, and it's like, it's $1,000 a seat.
Yeah, that's exactly.
It's crazy.
Oh, we gotta get in over there at the enterprise land.
I know. I don't know what the hell we're doing over here.
Yeah, but still, there is something interesting there potentially. Like, like even how people have Patreons and stuff like that is kind of big on YouTube now, and all that kind of world. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, I haven't found the right thing for a subscription.
I think for now, I still like the idea of like build up YouTube first. Then if it like 5-hour courses make sense, do 5-hour courses. If 20-hour, 40-hour, 60-hour, whatever, like you could do whatever once you have the audience, and you'll be getting feedback what they want. You can experiment, all that stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So North Star, build up the YouTube audience.
I think that should be the North Star.
Forget about Twitter because it's worthless.
It's useless. I mean, it's like, I just think, and not even just Twitter, I love to pick on Twitter, but I just think all these, I don't think Facebook would do any better for you either, right? Like, I think that these are not going to be very profitable channels. At least in that way. Could there be like, you could experiment with the idea of like advertising on LinkedIn to software developers, level up your Postgres game. This is the new hotness. And like LinkedIn does have probably enough data for you to target them.
That is true.
Relatively efficiently. Right? They are a web developer. They use PHP, blah, blah, blah. Like narrow that down pretty tight. The ads are pretty cheap. I think that could be an interesting experiment. Spend $1,000 on LinkedIn ads to push the courses.
I like that.
I think that would be, because you get the nice thing is all these other things are like, well, in the future, after you do lots of work, you will hopefully reap the benefits, right?
Hopefully it'll pay off.
Yeah, the beauty of an ad is like, oh, I turned the ads on yesterday, and today I have people buying the product, right? So like, that is really nice with that. So I think a little money spent possibly on Google. There'll be a lot of competition there, but depending on what the costs are, maybe Google. And then, I mean, Google's still the best because it's like somebody's literally typing in, I need to learn Postgres or whatever, right?
How to Postgres.
Yeah, right. So like you could be like, yes, I can teach you that. So even if it costs you $5 a click or $10 a click, if they actually convert at 30% or something, even 10%, like you're going to make money. So that would be another area for Steve to go deep on, in my opinion, would be like
that would be a good use of his time.
Of the existing courses.
Yeah.
Like just focus on Postgres and SQLite straight advertisements. I mean, even if you break even, there's like an interesting case for that of like getting them into your ecosystem, getting them on lists,
right?
Introducing them to your YouTube channel indirectly, like all that kind of stuff. Even if the ads just break even, is useful, So those people talk about it on social media, blah blah, whatever. Like, so that would be another angle I think would be really good. That's not what I've been experimenting with, as we've talked a little bit about, and I don't have it dialed in just yet, but there's something there. For your stuff, there's gonna be less competition with it too, which I think would be good.
Yeah, and it's very low, like it's low activation energy. Like I'm not switching a help desk. I'm buying a course and I'm starting to watch it.
It's I'm doing this right now. I land on the course. It's like, oh, I need this. Buy it. Done. So yeah, I actually really like that.
Okay,
like
so
a lot.
Steve does not make a screencasting YouTube channel yet, at least.
I think
so. Steve works on landing a course sponsor, landing a durable YouTube sponsor,
yep,
and running ads to the existing stuff as an experiment.
I'm telling you, I really like this ad idea. I think that's actually could be quite interesting.
Okay, that's what we'll do.
Yeah,
we will do that.
I think you can make that work.
And I am going to become a YouTuber.
You're going to dye your hair purple.
I'm going to dye my hair purple. I'm going to be surprised by everything.
Exactly.
Probably do a little more shouting. Probably be super insufferable.
So do we go full circle now to last week and AI Aaron Francis?
We're back. That's what we call a callback, folks.
Yes. Give me the AI content. This is the experiment.
I'm willing to layer that in.
If you need 3 topics a week, you're going to have to talk about AI here and there, right?
Yeah.
And that would be very fascinating. Like, how do those videos do? Do they perform a lot better? Well, there you go. Now you know that's interesting, right?
First, now we know.
They perform worse than, no, these are database people and they want more database stuff. Great, fine.
Yep. Okay. All right.
How's your headspace?
We're not dead yet.
You're not dead yet.
It's just, it's not very fun to fail. Turns out succeeding, in fact, is more fun than failing.
Well, listen, here's some advice.
You heard it here first.
Every other product I've ever built by HelpSpot has failed.
Okay.
On some level or another. I mean, Lara Jobs, I don't even really count that. It's kind of like, it's a little bit of a different thing. It's not a huge success. It's not like I could get rid of HelpSpot and live off Lara Jobs. I think there is an element of like, which is why I like the ad idea of like, hey, you guys had a couple big launches. People did like those products.
They did.
Let's not abandon those products. Like, we just have to reach to other people. Maybe the low-hanging fruit of free access is over.
Right.
But these are good products that we know for sure people like and buy. 100% sure. Whatever you do in the future, you have no idea if anybody's going to like it. You know for sure people like SQLite course. People really like the Postgres course. So if we can just pay money to get people to look at those courses and decide if they like them, some good percentage of those people are probably going to be like, oh, this looks amazing. Let me buy this, right? So I kind of like that idea of like, you have something that worked, like stick with that a bit.
Stick with it. What the hell are you doing?
All right. And in the meantime, it makes sense for you to keep going after the free leads of building up the YouTube, because those are, of course, the best. Yeah. I don't know. I think we have a plan. I think this feels like a plan. We don't have a total plan for screencasting, but whatever.
I don't care. I need a plan for the business. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And the big picture, I like this plan a lot. For screencasting, I don't know. Like, we have some ideas. I don't know if I love any of them. I don't know if it's going to fix it. Who knows?
That's fine.
But for the business, I feel like you guys have opportunity for sure. Definitely get some big sponsors, do some ads, especially probably Google, honestly, just because you're going to be so targeted. But you could do some more. I think LinkedIn was worth experimenting with, at least, to be like, hey, maybe we can get in front of people and some of them will buy.
Yeah.
And then, and build up the audience. And good stuff will come out of that. Good stuff will come out of that. Like, even when you got laid off, you were doing a lot of YouTubing back then. I feel like more than now.
Mm-hmm.
When that happened, like, everybody was like kind of approaching you and all that stuff, right? Like, putting yourself out there. I think that's all positive direction stuff.
Okay. All right. I feel a little better.
All right.
I feel a little better. We'll get there. This whole business thing, tough, huh?
Kind of terrible.
It's kind of terrible. Yeah.
It's like, it's simultaneously horrible and awesome at the same time. And
not at the same time. But the waves, the cycles are very close together between awesome and horrible.
Yep. It is. It's yeah, it's all on you. That's the thing. Like
it's all the entire world is upon my shoulders.
Nowhere to hide. You can't blame your boss made you do the thing and you knew better. You didn't want to do it. Like, no, this is
everything is my fault.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's not great.
But all the success is your fault too. So, you know,
that is true.
It cuts both ways.
It does.
It cuts both ways. But anyway, I don't know. I think that's the plan. I like this plan.
That's the plan.
We will follow up next week. I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to cover?
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
We're good here.
This is people are gonna like. They're gonna like the episode. It's great content. We love a failure.
They do love a failure.
So,
like they see themselves. They see they felt your pain themselves before.
I am a man of the people. In that I am a massive failure. All right, that's it. That's all I got.
We'll end on that optimistic note. All right, thanks everybody for listening. Thank you to the sponsors. Check us out, mostlytechnical.com. Still some ad slots. If you want to help Aaron out, you want to throw a couple nickels in there.
Come on,
do it.
July is not sold out yet, so you guys, you got to get in there.
You can even still get in for June. We allow people to come in for the current month, the first few days of it. So you can get in for June. Definitely you can get in for beyond that. Mostlytechnical.com, waitlist for the parties there. All the old episodes are there. And we'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody.
See ya.